crafters, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. We're so happy that you stopped by today. We will be working with partial die cuts. Now this allows you to take just a partial cut and then highlight the stamp that you've done below it. Let me show you just a little example. Now here's one that we partially cut right here, but we stamped that flower, so it really highlights the flower and makes it pop. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get started. The first thing you need to do is go ahead and get you an A2 card, just a normal A2 card. Now we are going to turn this landscape, and remember, all our measurements will be listed over on our blog and the link will be listed below. So we have a few mats that we'll be using. And we're going to go ahead and just lay down this top mat first. And now we need two mats because this is where we're going to use our partial die cut. So let's go ahead and just lay that down on top of each other, creating that double mat. And what is nice about this DSP Designer Series paper is that it has a coordinating color on the back side. And so we will be utilizing that feature on this card. So we have this, we'll just lay it to the side. And now we're going to get our stamp. And here is the flower that we're going to use. These beautiful flowers from our hand-pinned petals stamp set. We'll go ahead and get our memento and get that inked up. Now we need to leave enough room for our sentiment that we're going to stamp. So we can see where we're going to put that. And I need about, I'm just going to very lightly make a little mark. Okay, perfect. And now we're going to line this up about right here. And we're going to get our die cut and we're going to match it to this flower so that we know exactly where to cut it. And once we have that lined up, we're going to use our tape that's removable and just tape that to the strip that we already have. And that way we get it in exactly the right place. Okay. I'm going to run this through our trim machine. And now let's take it out and see how it looks. So we just pop that out, put that to the side. You might want to use it later. And just very carefully take this apart. Okay, and now we are going to just line this up where we had it, and look at that. Line it up right on the top of that card. Okay. And we will be adding dimensionals to this. We're also going to add a little strip of the DSP right here to the corner. But first we need to go ahead and use our stamps to get this colored. Now you can use blends to do this, but we like to go ahead and use these wonderful stamps that they gave us. Makes it so easy. And stay with us because I have a card that you can use a completely different process, but it looks very similar. And remember, on this two-step process, it doesn't do it exactly. So I sometimes go back over and put another stamp on there just to give it some additional color, because it's not meant to. It's meant to look like watercolor, right? And so now we're going to bring in that pale papaya that is so pretty for this flower. Now I went ahead and put a little mark right at the top of this flower so that I would know which is the top, so that I would get it right every time. Now we're going to bring in our leaves. Now on this one right here, you can see that you don't see the tip of it. So when you go to put the stamp on there, kind of rock it and stop halfway. And that way you don't have to put a mask on it, because you can stop it before it gets to your flower and you can tell. And see, it still got colored, but it didn't do the whole leaf and get into the flower. That's just a little tip. And now I'm going to bring in some bronze to go ahead and get those stems colored. And remember I said we're going to put just a little strip right there just to accent it a little bit. And it's the other side of that DSP. Now we're going to bring in our dimensionals and get this laid down right there just to accent it. And when you're doing partial die cutting, I like to use a lot of dimensionals because that really keeps the integrity of the card. So if you do send it in the mail, it's going to be exactly where it needs to be. So let's take the backing off. There we have it. And now we're just going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment right here in the bottom right hand corner. Now we need to go ahead and put our matting on the inside. And we're going to stamp a small flower right here. And there we have it. Partial die cutting. You can see how it really just accents that flower that you stamped on the card. So pretty. Of course, you could do a landscape or you could do a portrait. So pretty. Here's the one that I showed you earlier. It's a portrait card, so it stands up tall. And we simply did the partial die cutting on this one, stamped our flower, and then look what we did. We added our DSP to this side just to make it pop some more. And then remember I told you I was going to show you another card that was very similar, but say you don't have your cutting machine with you, you can use a punch out this beautiful circle and add your stamp to it. We used our blends on this and made a very similar card, but so pretty. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. We hope you like this technique, partial die cutting. It's very fast, and yet it just really gives you this whole new element to your card. Well, listen, go out, be kind to yourself and others, be creative in your crafting, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.